The quiet of the early morning had always been something the locals took for granted in the rural outskirts of Willow Creek. It was the kind of silence that felt more like a companion than an absence. The muffled rustling of hay in the lofts, the distant lowing of cattle, the gentle creak of weathered barn doors shifting under the weight of time. For rancher Samuel Hart, it was the soundtrack of every dawn he had known for the past 20 years. He wasn't expecting that silence to be broken, nor by whom. The day had begun like any other. Samuel rose before the sun, lit the old stovetop, and stepped out into the crisp morning air with a cup of stale black coffee in hand. A faint fog crouched low over the pasture, blurring the line between earth and sky. It was in that haze that he first noticed something strange. The barn door wasn't fully shut. He paused mid-step, narrowing his eyes. He was sure he had latched it before sundown the previous night. On a ranch, small details mattered. A loose latch could mean wandering cattle, coyotes slipping in, or even trespassers seeking shelter. Instinct tightened his shoulders as he slowly approached. What he didn't expect was the faint sound, soft, uneven breathing, coming from inside the barn. At first he wondered if one of the Mares had gone into labor early, but the sound wasn't right. It had a tremble to it, a human tremble. His pace quickened, boots crunching against gravel. When he pushed the barn door open, sunlight sliced across the wooden floorboards in dusty golden streaks. And that was when he saw her. A little girl, no more than 5 or 6, sat curled against a stack of hay bales. She was small enough that she seemed swallowed by the shadows, her bare feet dusty, her dress torn at the hem. She hugged her knees tightly to her chest, shaking not from cold, but from something deeper. Fear threaded into her bones. Her hair was wild, and though her face was streaked with dirt, her eyes were startlingly bright, reflecting confusion, exhaustion, and something Samuel hadn't seen in a long time. Desperation, his breath caught. Children didn't just appear in barns. Not here, miles away from the nearest town. Not alone like this. Samuel crouched slowly, lowering himself into her line of sight. He softened his voice, cautious not to startle her, and asked if she was all right. But the girl didn't answer. Her lips parted, but no words came, as if her throat couldn't form sound. She simply blinked at him, trembling. Something was very wrong. Samuel set his coffee aside and stayed perfectly still, hands visible, trying to show he meant no harm. A rancher's hands could look scary to a child, weather-beaten, scarred, massive compared to her tiny frame. He introduced himself gently, hoping the simple act of saying his name would make him less of a stranger. The girl's fingers clutched at her dress tighter, and she finally drew in a shaky breath. He asked if she was hurt. A tiny shake of her head said no. He asked if she was lost. Her brows knitted together as though she couldn't answer. It wasn't until he asked where her mother was that everything changed. The girl's eyes flooded instantly with tears, as though the question had unlocked a memory too heavy for her small shoulders. She looked over Samuel's shoulder toward the open barn doors, toward the rolling fields beyond, and her tiny voice, barely more than breath, managed to form a single sentence that made Samuel's heart drop like a stone. "Mama's dying outside." For a moment, Samuel wasn't sure he had heard her correctly. His pulse hammered as the weight of her words sank in. They struck with an urgency that didn't belong in a quiet rural morning. He had seen his share of emergencies, farm accidents, childbirth gone wrong, a bad storm turning deadly, but nothing in his years prepared him for a child whispering something so devastating with such fragile certainty. He tried gently to ask where her mother was, but the girl only shook her head, her little lips trembling. She seemed torn between wanting to run to her mother and being too terrified to move. Samuel could see that whatever she had witnessed had shaken her deeply. The kind of fear that roots itself in the body, preventing even instinctive motion. The protective instinct in Samuel surged to the surface. He knew he couldn't waste a moment. He wrapped his coat around the girl's shoulders, trying to offer some measure of comfort, and told her softly that he would help her mother. He promised. That was when the girl finally reached for him with a tiny hand, gripping 2 of his fingers with surprising force, as if afraid he might leave her alone again. That small touch hammered into him the full gravity of responsibility now resting on his shoulders. But before he could ask anything more, he realized something else, something troubling. There were no tracks in the dirt beside the barn, no carriage marks, no footprints apart from small, uneven ones the girl had left behind. It was like she had appeared out of nowhere. Samuel glanced toward the treeline. The ranch stretched for miles, bordered by forest and rugged hills. If the girl's mother was somewhere out there, injured, the possibilities were grim. A fall, an animal attack, exposure. Every minute mattered. He lifted the girl into his arms, noting again how light she was, as if hunger had lived with her longer than safety had. As he stepped outside, the ranch's vastness seemed suddenly hostile. The fields, once peaceful in the morning glow, now looked like they held secrets he didn't want to uncover but knew he had to. The wind picked up, bending the tall grasses. Somewhere beyond them, a woman, someone's daughter, someone's mother, was possibly dying. The girl buried her face against his chest as if bracing for something she didn't want to see again. Samuel tried to coax her into showing him where she had come from, but she only lifted a shaking hand and pointed vaguely toward the west pasture, a stretch of land bordered by thick brush and uneven terrain. His stomach tightened. If the woman had collapsed there, the brush could easily hide her from view until it was too late. He carried the girl toward his truck, thinking through the steps he needed to take. First aid kit, rope, flashlight. Even though the sun was rising, he knew shaded areas could conceal injuries, predators, or worse. He also knew he couldn't drive the truck blindly through the pasture without risking running over something or someone. The girl's breathing hitched as he opened the passenger door, her eyes wide with new fear, but Samuel reassured her he wasn't leaving her alone. He needed her safe, where she could rest while he searched. Yet even as he set her gently onto the seat, she clung to his shirt, shaking her head frantically. She didn't want to be separated again, even for seconds. That panic wasn't normal for a child unless she had witnessed something truly traumatic. Samuel cursed under his breath, quietly, so she wouldn't hear, and adjusted his plan. He couldn't leave her behind, not after what she had seen, not in her condition, and not knowing there might be someone out there dying. But he secured the girl safely in the truck and climbed in beside her, turning the ignition. The engine rumbled to life, breaking the morning silence like a warning bell. As Samuel steered toward the west pasture, dust rising behind the wheels, his mind churned with questions that clawed at him. Who was the girl? How had she gotten here? What had happened to her mother? And what horrors had this tiny child witnessed before stumbling into his barn in the early light? But one question overshadowed all the rest. Was her mother still alive? Samuel pressed the accelerator harder. Whatever waited for him out there, whatever desperate, hidden tragedy lay beyond the tall grass, he would find it. He had to, because for the first time in years, he wasn't just a rancher tending to land and livestock. He was the only hope a terrified little girl had left. Authorities are still piecing together the events that led to what has been described by local officials as a potentially life-saving discovery. According to preliminary reports, the man, who has chosen to remain anonymous for privacy reasons, was performing routine work on his property when he noticed subtle signs that something was amiss. While at first glance it appeared to be a quiet, uneventful day in the rural area, the man said he noticed faint noises that didn't belong to the usual rustling of wind through the trees or animals moving about. Following the sound, he approached a barn situated on the outskirts of his property. What he encountered inside would soon prompt an urgent call to emergency services and set off a rapid chain of events that may have prevented a tragic outcome. Inside the barn, the man found a young girl, apparently no older than 8 or 9, who seemed terrified and confused. She was alone, and her small frame suggested she had been hiding for some time. Authorities report that the child whispered words that instantly heightened the man's concern. "Mama's dying outside," she said, a statement that indicated not only fear, but an immediate emergency requiring intervention. Local law enforcement and paramedics were quickly dispatched after the man made the call, with first responders describing the situation as delicate and urgent. Officials emphasized that the child's clear communication and the man's swift action were critical factors in the response time. Once on the scene, paramedics found the mother lying in a state of severe distress just beyond the barn. While the details of her condition have not been fully disclosed due to privacy concerns, emergency medical personnel noted that she was barely conscious and in need of immediate treatment. The rapid arrival of professional medical support was crucial in stabilizing her condition before transport to a nearby hospital. Medical experts have emphasized that in situations involving delayed care, outcomes can deteriorate quickly, which underscores the significance of the child's alert and the man's prompt response. Local authorities have praised the man's attentiveness and quick thinking. Officials stated that if he had not responded when he did, the situation could have escalated into a far more serious emergency. According to a paramedic on the scene, the little girl's presence and her ability to convey the severity of her mother's condition likely played a pivotal role in preventing a worse outcome. The child, while understandably shaken, is credited with ensuring help arrived at the right moment. Emergency responders noted that even small details, such as a child's ability to accurately describe a parent's distress, can have profound consequences in life-threatening circumstances. Neighbors and community members have expressed a mixture of shock and admiration following the incident. Many have remarked on the isolation of the area, which can make it more challenging to detect emergencies quickly. In this context, the man's vigilance and willingness to investigate unusual sounds made a critical difference. The community has also noted the remarkable presence of mind exhibited by the child, who, despite fear and confusion, managed to articulate the urgent danger her mother was facing. Social workers and child welfare specialists involved in the case have indicated that children in high-stress situations often struggle to convey what they see, making this child's clarity even more extraordinary. Authorities are continuing their investigation into the circumstances that led to the mother being in such a vulnerable state outside the barn. While they have not disclosed specific medical details, officials have confirmed that the woman's condition was severe enough to require immediate intervention. Emergency personnel have emphasized that early detection and response in such cases can significantly influence outcomes, and they have credited both the man and the child for effectively activating the emergency response system. Interviews with the man reveal that he did not initially know the severity of the situation, but upon hearing the child's warning, he acted without hesitation. His ability to remain calm under potentially dangerous circumstances has been highlighted as an exemplary display of civic responsibility. The local fire department and emergency medical teams have reiterated the importance of vigilance in rural communities, where access to immediate care may be limited. They have noted that early recognition of danger signs, whether by neighbors, family members, or even children, can save lives. In this instance, the combined efforts of an observant individual and a child in distress illustrate how critical communication and prompt action are in emergency scenarios. The child's ability to articulate her mother's peril, despite her young age and fear, was a determining factor in ensuring that professional assistance arrived in time. Community leaders have expressed both relief and admiration following the incident. Many have used the story to emphasize the value of looking out for neighbors and being attentive to unusual occurrences, even when life appears calm and uneventful. Local social workers have also commended the man for acting without hesitation, highlighting that in emergency situations, hesitation can result in tragic consequences. They have also underscored the importance of teaching children how to seek help and communicate clearly during crises, as such skills can prove invaluable in real-life emergencies. Authorities are also reviewing the circumstances surrounding the incident to better understand how similar situations might be prevented or mitigated in the future. Although the mother's exact medical condition has not been publicly disclosed, officials have confirmed that her life was in immediate danger, reinforcing the urgency and critical nature of the child's warning. Experts have stated that rapid reporting of emergencies, even by children, can have life-saving consequences, particularly in isolated or rural settings where response times may otherwise be delayed. The man involved has spoken to reporters, describing the experience as both terrifying and surreal. He said that the moment the child whispered about her mother, everything became clear. Immediate action was required. Despite the tension and uncertainty, he followed his instincts and contacted emergency services without delay. His actions have been praised by neighbors, emergency responders, and local officials alike, all of whom have emphasized the importance of community awareness and readiness to respond in unexpected situations. The child and her mother are now under medical care, and authorities have indicated that both are stable. Mental health professionals are expected to provide support to ensure that the child can process the traumatic events she witnessed. Local authorities have also reiterated that the incident is a reminder of how quickly ordinary circumstances can escalate into life-threatening situations, and how the timely intervention of vigilant community members can prevent tragedy. As investigations continue, the community remains deeply moved by the sequence of events that unfolded. From the child's courage in speaking out to the man's decisive response, this incident serves as a powerful example of human alertness, compassion, and quick thinking in the face of potential disaster. Authorities continue to emphasize that in rural areas, where immediate professional help may not always be within reach, community awareness and swift action can make the difference between life and death. The story has since sparked conversations about emergency preparedness, child safety education, and the importance of neighborhood vigilance, highlighting that even in the quietest areas, lives can be saved by timely human intervention. Following the harrowing discovery of a young girl hiding alone in a barn and her urgent warning about her mother's condition, both mother and child were immediately transported to a nearby hospital, where medical professionals have confirmed that they are now in stable condition. While precise details regarding the mother's medical situation have not been fully disclosed due to privacy considerations, hospital sources have indicated that rapid intervention was critical to ensuring her survival. Emergency personnel have emphasized that in cases of severe health crises, minutes can mean the difference between life and death, making the timely actions of both the child and the man who discovered her all the more significant. Officials have credited the chain of events triggered by the child's warning with preventing a far worse outcome, underscoring the importance of vigilance, communication, and swift action in emergency scenarios. The incident has resonated deeply with the local community, sparking an outpouring of support for the family. Neighbors and residents have described a collective sense of relief that both mother and daughter are safe, while also expressing admiration for the man who intervened. Many have praised his attentiveness, noting that in rural areas, where homes and properties are often spread out and isolated, recognizing subtle signs of distress can be challenging yet vital. Community leaders have highlighted the story as a reminder that ordinary acts of observation and willingness to act can have extraordinary consequences, and that sometimes it takes a combination of courage and awareness to prevent tragedy. Child welfare experts have also weighed in, noting that the young girl's composure and ability to communicate her mother's critical condition were remarkable. Children in high-stress or emergency situations often struggle to accurately describe what is happening around them. Yet in this case, her clarity and urgency directly facilitated life-saving intervention. Social workers have praised the child's bravery, emphasizing that the ability to speak up, even in frightening circumstances, is an essential skill that can make a profound difference in emergencies. Educational programs and child safety advocates have pointed to this story as a real-world example of why children should be taught to identify danger, seek help from trusted adults, and clearly communicate urgent information without hesitation. Authorities have noted that the rapid response by emergency services, combined with the actions of the man and the child, exemplifies an ideal emergency chain of survival. Paramedics on the scene have described the coordination as seamless, with immediate medical evaluation, stabilization, and transport to hospital care occurring without delay. Officials stress that such coordination is critical in rural communities, where geographic isolation and limited access to immediate medical resources can complicate emergency response. They have also highlighted the importance of clear communication, both in reporting the crisis and in providing emergency responders with accurate details, which in this instance likely contributed to the positive outcome. The incident has sparked broader conversations about community vigilance, emergency preparedness, and the role of ordinary citizens in safeguarding those around them. Local authorities have used the story as a teaching moment, encouraging residents to remain attentive to signs of distress, particularly among vulnerable populations such as children, the elderly, and individuals living alone. Public safety campaigns have emphasized that while professional emergency responders play a critical role, community members are often the first line of defense when crises occur. In this particular case, the combination of alertness, courage, and timely communication directly prevented a potential tragedy, reinforcing the notion that every individual can make a difference in emergency situations. In addition to emergency responders, Medical professionals and mental health experts are working closely with the family to ensure a full recovery, both physically and emotionally. Traumatic experiences such as this can have lasting psychological effects, particularly on children who are placed in high-stress situations. Hospital officials have indicated that counseling and support services have been offered to the young girl and her mother to help them process the events, address potential anxiety, and build coping mechanisms. Social workers have emphasized that early intervention in such circumstances is essential for preventing long-term psychological distress, and that the provision of compassionate care can significantly aid in the recovery process. Community support has continued to play an important role in the aftermath of the incident. Local residents have organized assistance for the family, offering meals, transportation, and emotional support. Neighbors have described the event as a wake-up call, reinforcing the interconnectedness of community life and the importance of looking out for one another. Civic leaders have applauded the collective response, noting that it exemplifies the best aspects of community solidarity and compassion. Such public acknowledgement and support have not only helped the family, but also contributed to a broader sense of safety and mutual responsibility within the area. Authorities have reiterated that the child's timely warning and the man's immediate response exemplify the crucial role that ordinary individuals can play in emergencies. Police representatives have highlighted the story as a case study for local safety programs, emphasizing that knowledge of one's surroundings, awareness of unusual circumstances, and readiness to act decisively are vital components of community safety. Law enforcement officials have also praised the child's presence of mind, noting that while adults are typically trained to respond in emergencies, children who feel empowered and supported can also play a critical role in life-saving interventions. The story has attracted attention beyond the local community, with national news outlets highlighting the remarkable coordination and bravery displayed by both the child and the man who discovered her. Journalists have noted that the combination of courage, communication, and prompt action creates a compelling narrative of hope and resilience. Experts in emergency management have cited the incident as an example of how awareness, observation, and timely reporting can have a decisive impact, particularly in situations where immediate professional intervention might not be available. The narrative has resonated with audiences because it demonstrates the human capacity to respond to danger with intelligence, empathy, and quick decision-making, highlighting the profound impact that individual actions can have on the lives of others. Medical professionals involved in the case have stressed the significance of rapid response in preventing long-term complications. In situations where a person's health is compromised, every minute counts, and early detection and intervention can drastically improve outcomes. The mother's survival and stabilization underscore the effectiveness of coordinated emergency care and illustrate how a combination of alertness, timely communication, and decisive action can collectively avert disaster. Doctors have noted that had the child not been able to convey the seriousness of her mother's condition, or had the man hesitated to act, the outcome could have been far less favorable. The incident has also prompted discussion about the importance of teaching children how to recognize emergencies and seek help. Child development specialists have emphasized that practical education in safety protocols, emergency communication, and identifying distress in others can empower children to act confidently when confronted with dangerous situations. This case serves as a real-world example of how such skills, even at a young age, can have profound consequences. Experts suggest that ongoing community education and awareness programs can enhance overall public safety and ensure that children and adults alike are prepared to respond effectively in crises. As both mother and daughter continue to recover, the story has become a symbol of courage, community vigilance, and human compassion. Public statements from local officials have commended the man for his decisive action and the child for her bravery, noting that their combined efforts saved a life. Community members have echoed these sentiments, emphasizing the importance of looking out for one another and responding to unusual circumstances with attentiveness and care. The narrative has inspired discussions on preparedness, resilience, and the ways in which ordinary people can make extraordinary contributions in moments of crisis. In the days following the incident, community leaders, social workers, and medical professionals have collaborated to ensure that the family has access to ongoing support. Mental health services, medical follow-ups, and practical assistance have been coordinated to promote stability and recovery. The story has sparked a renewed focus on the role of community in safeguarding vulnerable populations and has highlighted the ways in which vigilance, empathy, and swift action can transform potentially tragic situations into stories of hope and survival. Ultimately, this incident has resonated not only as a news story, but as a compelling example of the power of human intervention in critical situations. It underscores the importance of awareness, courage, and timely communication, while also demonstrating the vital role that ordinary citizens can play in saving lives. In the weeks following the dramatic rescue of the young girl and her mother, the incident has continued to resonate throughout the local community, prompting both reflection and action. Local authorities, social workers, and medical professionals have emphasized that while the immediate crisis has been addressed, the long-term impact on both the family and the community is still unfolding. Experts have noted that events of this nature can leave lasting psychological, social, and emotional effects, particularly on children who are directly involved. For the young girl, being thrust into such a traumatic scenario has created a mixture of fear, courage, and resilience that will shape her experiences in the years to come. Psychologists specializing in trauma have pointed out that children who experience emergencies often carry vivid memories of the event, which can influence their sense of safety, trust, and emotional stability. They stress the importance of sustained support, counseling, and reassurance from trusted adults to help mitigate potential long-term effects and to foster emotional recovery. Meanwhile, public officials and community leaders have been examining the broader lessons that can be drawn from the incident. One of the key takeaways has been the critical role that ordinary citizens play in emergency situations. The man who discovered the child, acting without hesitation, exemplifies how alertness, decisiveness, and a willingness to intervene can have life-saving consequences. Officials have emphasized that in rural or isolated areas, where access to immediate professional assistance may be limited, the responsibility for detecting emergencies often falls to neighbors, family members, or community members. Training programs and public awareness campaigns have been proposed to reinforce the importance of observation and rapid response, highlighting that proactive measures by ordinary people can prevent tragedies before they escalate. The incident has also sparked discussion about the importance of equipping children with the skills and confidence to seek help in emergencies. Child safety experts have noted that education programs focusing on communication, situational awareness, and seeking assistance can empower children to act decisively, even in frightening circumstances. In this case, the young girl's ability to clearly articulate her mother's urgent condition directly influenced the outcome. Specialists have suggested that such practical training should be an essential component of community and school safety initiatives, helping children recognize danger and respond appropriately while reinforcing the importance of trust in adults and authorities. Medical professionals involved in the case have highlighted the significance of rapid intervention and coordinated emergency response, particularly in rural environments. The mother's survival is a testament to the effectiveness of early detection and timely medical attention, underscoring how every minute can affect patient outcomes. Emergency management experts have also pointed to the case as an illustration of community first response in action, where non-professional witnesses act as critical links in the chain of survival. Lessons learned from this incident are now informing local emergency planning, with a focus on improving response protocols, increasing awareness, and ensuring that residents have access to resources that allow them to recognize and report emergencies quickly. Beyond the immediate medical and safety aspects, the story has ignited broader conversations about social responsibility, community cohesion, and the ways in which individuals can contribute to collective well-being. Local residents have reflected on the importance of cultivating a culture of attentiveness and mutual support, recognizing that even small acts, checking on neighbors, noticing unusual signs, or listening carefully to children, can have outsized consequences. Civic organizations and community groups have used the story to highlight the value of vigilance and empathy, encouraging residents to look out for one another and to take action when situations appear unusual or potentially dangerous. The narrative has become a touchstone for discussions about fostering stronger, more interconnected communities, emphasizing that safety and care are collective responsibilities rather than solely institutional obligations. In addition to community engagement, the incident has attracted attention from national safety experts and policy analysts who have examined the broader implications of such events. Discussions have centered on how rural and suburban communities can improve preparedness, ensure rapid emergency response, and provide support systems for vulnerable populations. Analysts have noted that incidents like this reveal gaps in awareness, resources, and training that can be addressed through policy measures, public education, and strengthened coordination between community members and emergency services. The case has been cited in discussions about child welfare, rural health access, and crisis response, with experts highlighting that proactive, informed communities are better equipped to prevent tragedies and protect vulnerable individuals. Mental health professionals have underscored the importance of addressing both immediate and long-term emotional needs for families involved in traumatic incidents. Children, in particular, may experience heightened anxiety, sleep disturbances, or feelings of insecurity following exposure to life-threatening situations. Early intervention by qualified mental health specialists can help mitigate these effects, fostering resilience and providing tools for coping with trauma. Support for the mother is equally important, as adults who endure sudden health crises in conjunction with their children's involvement may face stress, guilt, or ongoing emotional challenges. Coordinated efforts between medical, psychological, and social support services are therefore critical to ensuring holistic recovery for both child and parent. The broader societal implications of the incident extend to considerations of policy, emergency preparedness, and public awareness. Experts have emphasized that while professional responders are essential, they cannot always be immediately present in every emergency, particularly in geographically dispersed or rural areas. As such, equipping the general population with knowledge, skills, and confidence to recognize and act upon urgent situations becomes a vital complement to formal emergency infrastructure. Public service campaigns, school-based safety programs, and community workshops have been highlighted as effective means of ensuring that residents, both children and adults, can respond appropriately in crises, ultimately enhancing overall community resilience and safety. Local government and community organizations have also taken steps to ensure ongoing support for the family, recognizing that their experiences could serve as a blueprint for preparedness and resilience. Initiatives include counseling services, support networks, and community outreach programs designed to educate residents on recognizing emergencies, responding appropriately, and accessing available resources. These programs aim to empower residents with both the practical skills and the confidence to act decisively when faced with unexpected circumstances. The story of the girl and her mother has become central to these efforts, illustrating the profound difference that awareness and action can make. Experts in emergency response have drawn attention to the interplay between human alertness and institutional preparedness. The case illustrates how a combination of factors, community vigilance, clear communication, rapid intervention, and professional medical care, can converge to produce life-saving outcomes. It highlights the importance of cultivating a culture in which individuals recognize their potential role in emergencies, and where children are encouraged to speak up, adults are prepared to act, and systems are in place to respond efficiently. The incident has thus become a compelling case study in resilience, human compassion, and the practical application of safety principles in real-world situations. The story has also sparked conversations about the moral and ethical dimensions of civic responsibility. Neighbors and local leaders have reflected on the ways in which awareness, empathy, and willingness to act contribute to the health and safety of a community. The actions of the man who discovered the child, as well as the girl's courage in articulating her mother's condition, have been celebrated as exemplary demonstrations of civic virtue. Public discussions have emphasized that heroism is often manifested not in grand gestures, but in everyday attentiveness, timely action, and the ability to respond decisively when others are in need. These reflections have inspired broader discussions about how communities can nurture these qualities and create environments in which individuals are empowered to act responsibly and effectively. In the aftermath, the story has also been examined as a learning opportunity for emergency management professionals and community planners. Lessons gleaned from the incident are being used to inform best practices, particularly in rural settings where isolation and delayed access to care can exacerbate crises. Analysts have underscored the importance of communication networks, public education, and community engagement in improving outcomes for vulnerable populations.